And we're back. Folks, in case you missed it, basically, in case you were in a coma or something, Trump was acquitted for the second time now, this time by a count of 57 to 43. Um, he only needed, I think, 36 or something like that votes to defeat the charges. Basically, the Senate would have needed 67% or two-thirds of the majority to convict, and they did not come close to that. Um, and it's kind of anticlimactical because we, as Rand Paul, pushed for the vote. 44 Republicans had voted that it was basically unconstitutional, so we knew this thing was dead in the water. So it's kind of like anticlimactic, but the Democrats still wanted to put on a show for everybody, and try to drag Trump's name through the mud. I feel like it backfired. I think Trump's defense attorneys did a great job. They started off a little slow, but when it came down to the defense, they did a great job. Unless, of course, your name is Bill Cassidy. I mean, this schmuck here, he was one of the 7 Republicans who voted to actually convict Donald Trump. Luckily, he he was he was not enough. I mean, this guy really didn't make any sense. I mean, he voted initially that it was actually unconstitutional. He was one of the 44 senators that said it was actually unconstitutional. And he comes back and votes to convict the guy. It made no sense. He's making his rounds on all over social media and all over these hack media outlets now, basically because he's saying what their narrative is. And and shame on him. He's a senator out of Louisiana. Hopefully that changes in the near future. um but that was him. And again, for you to actually uh vote to convict Donald Trump in this situation here, you'd have to suspend reality. I mean, there's three major points here that you would have to totally ignore to draw the conclusion that Donald Trump should be convicted here. One, you'd have to ignore the Constitution. Okay, nowhere in the Constitution does it remedy that a private citizen be impeached. Impeachment is for someone who's sitting in office, not somebody who's sitting at home. Um, Also, number two, the timeline. You look at this timeline thing, you come to the conclusion that the Capitol building was actually attacked before Donald Trump finished his speech. So how can he incite something without even finishing it? So that made no sense. And then number three, you'd have to ignore what the FBI found, and the FBI findings were that this thing was pre-planned. So you'd have to ignore all these things to draw the conclusion to come to the conclusion that Cassidy and these other idiots did, that Donald Trump was guilty. I don't blame the Republican. I mean, the Democrats. That's what they do. They stick together. I knew they were going to get their 50 votes, but shame on these 7 Republicans who um, who voted to actually convict Trump on that. And what I do like, what I'm seeing, is that all these local GOP from the states, from these individual senators, they've been speaking out and actually trying to censure these schmucks for what they did. And that's what we need. We need to let these guys know that what they did was not right. It was not in their best interest. Um, and shame on them. Shame on them. But let's go over to New York now, and our buddy there, Andrew Cuomo, has got himself in hot water. Uh, I've been screaming this on my show for I don't know how long. We knew he was fudging the numbers in New York. We knew he wasn't handling the situation correctly. But yet these idiots were giving this guy Emmy awards and singing his praises, all throughout the whole COVID pandemic. And come to find out, ladies and gentlemen, we were right. I was right. He did not handle this correctly. Um, he was sending positive COVID patients into the nursing homes. Even his team admitted, more specifically, that they held back data because they were scared that the numbers would be used against them. And the data that they held back was related to the deaths from the COVID-19 in the nursing homes. Um, and the top aides admitted this. And we're talking almost double the numbers. I guess 15,000 patients died in these nursing homes with the COVID, but the numbers that that they were putting out was actually, or his administration was putting out, was only that 8,500 died. So that's almost half the number of the real number. But that's not stopping Cuomo from still pointing the finger. He's pointing the finger to the feds. He's pointing the finger to Trump. He's pointing the finger to the nursing homes. He's pointing the finger to everybody but himself. And now his latest thing, now he's coming after these. What he calls for-profit nursing homes, because for some reason, to these Democrats, profit is a bad word, and he feels that they shouldn't be profiting off that. That it's counterproductive. That's because he doesn't understand capitalism. If he understood capitalism, he would understand that actually what it does is, what competition does is breed quality and lowers price. But he doesn't understand that because he doesn't live in the real world. He's a politician. He's a hack. And you know, uh, my big question is he going to give back this Emmy? You know what I mean? Are all these celebrities going to stop drooling over him now that he finally, that the truth is actually coming out? Obviously the truth came out after the election, and I don't think that was, you know, that's not a coincidence. Basically, you know what I mean. And he is feeling the pressure because some Democrats are calling him out on that, which I'm actually very surprised on. So we're going to see where this leads to. I know they're going so far into looking what are their what is there any solutions that they can. I don't. New York doesn't have a recall policy like they do in California, because that idiot Newsom in California, if you haven't heard, he's actually about to be recalled. They pretty much got the signatures. They're very close to getting the signatures needed to force a recall. So keep an eye on that. But here in New York, they're looking to see what they can do to Governor Cuomo, because this can't go unanswered. I mean, thousands of people died, and they died basically uh, on his decision to send positive COVID patients to nursing homes, which early on we knew was a no-no, and we knew that the elderly were among the most vulnerable. So to sit there and do that, it didn't make any sense. But enough of that schmuck. On to another schmuck. we're gonna we're gonna talk about my man Sean Penn here, aka Spicoli. Now he sent out a very Spicoli like tweet. Um, uh, I think it was yesterday that he sent it out, or it might have been today. But anyway, here's the tweet that he sends out. I'm gonna read this for you. Uh, Evangelical leaders should themselves be impeached by the Vatican if they themselves don't follow Nikki Haley's lead and clearly state that they should not have followed. I guess that's what say Satan, but he says Satin into, into the bowels of hell. But perhaps they are too busy at sex parties. Now, there's multiple things wrong with this tweet. One, we all know that Satan is not spelled Satin, it's Satan. And I don't know, unless you got a problem with satin sheets, I don't know what Sean Penn's issue is here. uh, but also, the evangel I don't know why I can't say that word today. Evangelical leaders, um, Sean, they don't answer to the Pope. I know in your little mind, you think that all those dirty little Christians, that they're all the same, but we're actually not. Evangelicals do not answer to the Pope. So I don't know where he got this from. So I don't know what he thinks the Pope is going to do. It was just a bizarre tweet from a bizarre guy, and it made me laugh. So I had to share that. But speaking of tweets, um, the another crazy, actually not a crazy tweet, is actually a tweet that made sense, but the craziness is what followed. And Lucasfilms actually fired Gina Carano. For those of you who don't know who her, here she is. She is a star on the show Mandalorian, which I actually love. It's on Disney Plus. If you haven't seen it, if you're a Star Wars buff, you got to check it out. Very good show. She's very good on the show, but they fired her. Why did they fire her? They fired her because of this tweet here. And I'm going to read this tweet to you. It says, Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? I mean, they fired her over that tweet. They said that tweet was anti-Semitic. That tweet is not anti-Semitic. She's actually speaking on what's going on in the world today and basically how conservatives are being, sought out, ran out of town, if you will, for our political beliefs. And actually, Lucasfilms actually proved their point by firing her. You know what I mean? They fired it. They fired a conservative, just like she said. That they're out there being persecuted and dehumanized, and it's the same. So she actually didn't say anything wrong, but they fired her. They dropped her from the show. But kudos to Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire. They picked her up, and they're actually going to work on a project where she's actually going to star and produce their next film. So we'll be all looking for that because we got to show support to our fellow conservatives. I mean, this whole cancel culture stuff is a bunch of nonsense. We got to get away from it. It's not good for the country. It's not what we stand for. It's a damn shame that we even allow this. Like the country is based on freedom of speech. Dissenting voices should be heard. And all that. So even if you disagree with somebody, there's no reason to cancel them. If you don't like it, turn the channel. You know what I mean? Whatever. But there's no reason to destroy somebody's career and go through all that nonsense. Because you simply disagree with somebody. Again, we're supposed to be the most tolerant nation in the world, and I believe we are. But when you see stuff like that, we got to say enough is enough. That being said, I'm going to take this quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to jump right into the NFL. I got my man Corey Bett on the other side on the other side here, and he'll be joining us as soon as we get right back. Corey, how's it going, buddy? Can you hear me?
What's up, Uncle Felix? Yes,
Chilling,
sir.
chilling.
Been a minute.
How's it
Been a
been?
while, man. It's
I
good
know
stuff.
it seems like that.
Been good.
Nothing
Yeah.
much.
Excuse the
So,
darkness, man. My office and my house.
yeah,
The door
yeah.
is
Wow,
kind
it
of
is pretty
loud, so
dark.
I come outside, step into my car office.
That's fine. Don't worry about it. It's funny because the last guy I had on last week, the Rhode Island State representative, same thing. It looked like his head was actually floating because he had a black shirt on and everything. So, but but it's
Yeah,
all good.
yeah.
It's all good. But hey, let's get into this NFL stuff. First thing I actually wanted to talk about was uh, start off on a somber note. Actually, rest in peace to Vincent Jackson. For those of you that didn't hear, he passed away on the 15th.
Yeah.
Um, if you don't know him, he was a 6'5", 230-pound wide receiver, originally drafted by San Diego, went over to the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think he played for about 11 years. Three-time Pro Bowler, 540 receptions, over 9,000 yards receiving, 57 touchdowns, and he eclipsed the 1,000-yard mark 6 times. Only 38 years old. Now, weird thing about his death is that his family actually reported him missing on February 10th. And uh, a day later, the police actually found him. He was staying at a hotel about 20 miles outside of Tampa Bay. And so they found him. They actually closed the case. They talked to him. They felt that he was fine. And basically, he was missing because he wanted to be missing. But then, and that was on Friday. That was this past Friday. And they actually found his body Monday in that same hotel room. By one of the maids. So, the police are saying there was no trauma to the body. Um, So we can only speculate at this time what happened to him. But rest in peace to Vincent Jackson. And from all I was reading about him, he was really dedicated to his community and did a lot of good to his community. So it looks like they lost a special guy there. But sad news there. Um, but and
Yeah,
that's
first thing that comes to my mind, speak on Vincent. He was on my fantasy football team for a couple of years, so he's a beast, man. He was a great player in the
yeah, he
NFL.
was he was
But it reminds me of the CTE situation, Will Smith movie.
yeah, he was a nice big. He always made the big plays downfield. You know what I mean? And he was
Big
fun to
possession
watch.
receiver, yeah.
Yeah,
Philip.
he was definitely fun to watch. That being said, speaking of Tampa Bay, did you see obviously the Super Bowl? Did you see the celebration after with my man with my man Tom Brady, who had to be
I want to say this though.
walked off the boat? What's up?
Yeah, if that trophy fell in the water, man, I think we'd be talking that for the next 50 years instead of his all his Super Bowls, man. Because I was at like 10 times, man.
That
That
was
was crazy.
crazy. That was crazy. But hey, he's Tom Brady. He gets away with it.
But like you said, well deserved though.
And if he, even if that thing falls down, guess what? He's got six more. I mean that's just
Yeah, I
nuts.
know, I
Seven,
know.
seven trophies. That's insane. And
I'm
he's
hearing a
not
lot of
done.
hate already. People was just, he's not done. He's
Yeah,
coming back, Felix. What are you gonna do?
yeah.
He's fearless. AJ Watt, you gotta get him, man.
I know. I don't know
Come
though.
on, man.
I'm hearing I'm hearing the rumors that he's gonna end up in areas here that he's gonna end up in Green Bay. So what do you think? Where do you think he's gonna end up?
Ah, me personally, I'm telling him to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. But your quarterback situation at Pittsburgh, because his brother plays there, so I'm like, that would be a crazy advertising marketing, you know what I mean? But maybe he wants his brother to shine by himself. He doesn't want to like overshadow his brother, but he should just go. He's out here, Cleveland Browns. You might go with your boy Miles Garrett in the Pittsburgh
Hmm.
division. You'll be scared of that.
Yeah, I don't want to see him in Cleveland. If he's not in Pittsburgh, go to Green Bay so we don't have to deal with him. It would be nice to see him in Pittsburgh, like you said. The story he got two brothers there already, so that'd give us three Watts. And like Coach Tomlin said, you can never have enough Watts on the team. You know what I mean? So it'd be nice to see.
Yeah, but
But in all honesty, you know, we had like the number one defense, number one sacks, all that stuff. I'm not saying we don't need the guy, but
yeah,
it's not our priority. You know what I mean? But if we can make the numbers work, if he'll give us a discount, in order to play with his brothers, I'll take him. I'll take him all
oh yeah,
day. But another thing you
oh
mentioned,
without a doubt.
is the whole issue with Big Ben. He's got to obviously reconstruct his contract big time. He says he's willing to. He says he doesn't care how much he makes, this upcoming year. But something has to be done there because if those numbers aren't right, as much as I love Big Ben, who I would love to see there even more right now is my boy Deshaun
Who's that?
Watson. You know what I mean? I would
Oh,
love to see
Watson.
Deshaun
Yeah,
Watson there if we can't make it work with Big Ben. You know what I mean? Big Ben, love him to
Ben's
death. Three
old. He's getting crowded out. He can't do it no
He's
more.
old. He's old. Three Super Bowl appearances, two Super Bowl championships. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
can't ask for more. He's going to be walking in right into the Hall of Fame when he's done. That's for sure. But
yeah. Philip Rivers
but
just tight. He needs to follow suit because Tom Brady's playing.
yeah,
He ain't going to win another one.
Philip. I was never a fan of Philip Rivers, man. I can't stand that guy.
I know you
Yeah,
don't like Philip.
nah. It's funny because they always bring him up, because him, uh, Big Ben and Eli were all drafted in the same class. You know what I mean? I'm like, why are they even mentioning Phillips?
Hmm.
Ben and Eli both have two Super Bowl rings. They can talk about those guys. Phil Rivers, no, don't get me wrong. He's put up some nice numbers, but every time he goes to the play, I don't think he has a playoff win. Right? I don't think he does.
Nah, I think it's hilarious. He has 17 kids. That's all. Yeah, that's my guy.
Hey, hopefully he
My,
saved his money.
yeah,
Hopefully,
yeah, the
hopefully he
coach gave him
saved
a
his
lot.
money. That's for sure. So, what else you seen in the NFL? What do you think that's gonna? What else you see happening with free agency?
Well, I mean, with this whole COVID situation, they got a lot of the salary cap numbers going to be adjusted. The payrolls for the teams are going to be adjusted. So this year is going to be a little different, obviously, than others. So I don't know what the numbers are looking like. I know the Patriots have a lot of room, a lot of money to, you know, utilize and try to make the roster better. But AC right now is a dark cloud. I mean, there's so many injuries, so many moving parts. You can start. Anyway, I'm just gonna start with the Patriots because obviously I'm a homer. But quarterback position, we got the 15th. It's looking like the 15th overall pick. I don't know what you do. I hope he doesn't trade out. I hope you can go get a really good offensive player. But right now, Felix, I'm in that dark cloud with what's going on. I really don't know which direction to go. Um,
Now,
I'm
do you
still
do you
going off
want
that
to?
Tom Brady high. I just can't believe he's gone. He won another Super Bowl. So
Now, do you want to see Cam Newton come back or no? You're all done with that?
who? Cam Newton?
Yeah. Do you want to see him
Are
come
you asking
back or
about
no?
Cam Newton?
Yeah. Do you want him
I
to
was a
come back?
Cam Newton fan at the beginning. I don't personally. I don't think it's a good fit. I don't think it's a good fit. I think a lot of people in the New England community don't think it's a good fit. We were rooting for it, obviously post Brady, but Josh, we just too many different philosophies on the field. We didn't have a lot of players who didn't play either. They opted out for the COVID too, so it's just this season was kind of like a I gave a pass, but with the 15th pick, what quarterbacks are going to be available? I like the kid out of Ohio State. It looks like your son too. What's his name? Um,
Justin
he
Fields.
looks
He's
pretty
a
good because
beast.
I know the other quarterback, Justin Field. Yeah, it looks like Shine, bro. So I don't know. I don't think he'll be there. So
Well, there's a quarterback. Don't sleep on him. He's actually out of a Division 1 AA school, North Dakota. Um, I can't think of his name right now, but he's a beast. He threw 42 touchdowns last year, zero interceptions, and he can run. He
wow.
he, he can run. He can throw. He does it all. Um, so he's it's gonna be interesting to see where he ends up because there's rumors actually that Pittsburgh might pick him up to be the future. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I kind of
That's
have
what
a
you
feeling.
want. That's what you really want, Pittsburgh.
I wouldn't mind him because they do definitely got to start thinking, because if Ben plays, it's gonna be his last year. It's got to be, and
Yeah,
but I think if who everybody is talking about Pittsburgh picking up is Najee Harris out of Alabama at running back. That wouldn't be a bad pickup too. But we need linemen, we need running backs, we need linebackers. I mean, we
yeah.
those are the three.
Pouncey retired.
Pouncey retired. Yeah, he was fun to watch for 11 years now. I think he's another one. I think he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, all the number of I
Yeah,
think he's been to
for
nine Pro
sure.
Bowls. When he's healthy, I mean, he's just a beast. I think his body started getting
Hmm.
beat up down towards the end because even this year here he missed like 5 or 6 games. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta listen to your body. And him and
Yeah,
him and
him
his
and his brother,
brothers.
right? Twins out of Florida.
Yeah, yeah, and they retired together, rode off into the sunset. Good, good for them.
I remember
Like
when they
they
first
say.
came in because they were twins and out of Florida with Tebow. But yeah, they were really, really good.
Yeah, yeah. I was actually hoping the Steelers were going to get both of them. You know what I mean? But I think we got the
Uh,
better one for sure. I mean, not that Mike Pouncey was bad, but Marquise Pouncey was a beast. And like I said, I think he has a chance
Definitely.
of being a Hall of Famer anyway. Any other shots you want to take around the NFL?
Just wanted everybody who listening, who watches, just know Tom Brady's just the GOAT. I mean, we all know this. It's just repetitive, but I mean, there's nothing else to say. Go get yourself a Tom Brady jersey. Go get yourself a pair of Michael Jordans. And
Yeah.
throw that outfit on. You look like a really cool person. So that's it, man. Tom Brady for president. I never doubted the guy when they first got him. So just glad he's still winning, man. It's just a delight to
It's
see. I know a lot of Patriots players don't like to see it, but I love it.
listen, me with Tom Brady, it's funny. Like, I was happy when he won his first Super Bowl because as you know, I'm a Steelers fan, and so I was happy to see him win that first
Yeah.
Super Bowl because I used to always root for the Patriots when the Steelers want to play. But then when the Patriots went on this, win streak, started winning Super Bowls, man, the fans drove me crazy. They made me hate the guy. I was a
Yeah.
Tom Brady hater. But obviously, as the years go on, how can you hate the guy? The guy's great. You know what I mean? I still rooted against
Hmm.
the Patriots, but I've always respected his game. So obviously, when he ended
Hmm.
up in Tampa, it became easier to root for him. I was rooting for him. I had him winning
Yeah.
that Super Bowl. I knew there was no way he was going to lose that Super Bowl. There was no way those guys were going to let him down there. and that's just the type of
Hmm.
player he is. I mean, what we're witnessing is a once in a generation thing, easily, and maybe even more. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Because seven Super Bowls. You know, it's like the Jordan with the 6 rings, and
Hmm.
it's just
They just
greatness.
took Joe Montana. Montana was
We're
that
lucky
guy
to
in
see it.
football.
Yeah, yeah. And Montana only had four. You know what I mean? And
Yeah. So yeah,
Terry Bradshaw 4. I mean, this guy's about to double them.
and he's coming
Just
back again, and he got the same team.
yeah, yeah. I
They
mean, he didn't pick no slouch team to go to. They're young, they're good. You know what I mean? So they're going to be good for a while. You
We'll
know?
see. I'm just glad to see Gronk and Tom Brady still going at it. And
Yeah, yeah,
hopefully later on in the months coming, we'll see more free agency sign. We'll see more of a look into the NFL and what teams are they're doing what they're going to try to do for next season. So I think it's still early right now. So hopefully more news comes out, more positive news, so we can talk
yeah. We'll
more,
know.
and have more details.
Yeah, we'll know right before the draft or right after the draft exactly what's going on. But it's going to be fun to
Draft
keep
should
an
be
eye on.
fun.
Yeah, yeah. It should definitely be fun. But Josh,
Definitely
thanks
should
for
talk
coming on.
about that, man.
Yeah, but Corey, thanks for coming on, and I'll have you back on again so we can talk some more football. And with
Thanks for
that being
having me,
said,
Felix.
let
Good
me
to see you.
banish you to the green room. There you go. That was my man Corey Betts. Always a blast to have on the show. Love talking football. That being said, thanks for joining us. I'll be back next week with some more politics, some more football. Let's see what the wacky world of politics will bring us this week here. Um, it should be very interesting. Um, that being said, again, thanks for joining me. God bless. See you next week.